Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. We're super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. And in that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answers, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, we're almost halfway through September already, which is kind of crazy. This year is just absolutely flying by. You know, it's kind of a nice time of year in that it's cooling off a little bit, so the grass is growing a bit slower. And so if you're someone with a cool season lawn, it's pleasant to be outside. If you're someone with a warm season lawn, it's also more pleasant to be outside. So it kind of reminds me of how lawns are in like the late April, early May time frame around here. You know, so I think the color looks really nice. Lawns are starting to really come in, but it's not so hot that it's a pain or a chore to be out there. And the grass is not growing so quickly that, again, feels like a job. You got to like really fight to stay on top of it. As always, we're coming to you guys live on YouTube as our primary platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. So whichever is your method of consumption of choice, feel free to be part of the show. You can also support the show using our Cash App link. It's a way for you to, one, jump the lines. If you have a question and you don't want to feel like waiting for me to get to yours further down, you can do that. And if you just feel like supporting the show, that's also awesome as well, too. All right, let's get into it. Let's see what questions we have. We got Hugh up. He says, evening, Ron. Love the show. Convince my wife to get a powered reel mower. Budget around $3,000. Not bad. Would you suggest a new McLean, Swordman, or use John Deere or use Toro? Thanks. So I would either do a used John Deere Toro or maybe like one of the Revolutions from Reel Rollers. Like that would be my option. I like the design of the Revolution more than I do the McLean or the Swordman. I think it's a better built mower, frankly. So if you're not going to go greens mower, that's going to be a better option. It has like a newer design, has like a lot of the benefits of a greens mower without some of the headache and maintenance expense associated with greens mowers. So it's really your call. If you have the budget to pay a bit more for parts if and when something breaks on a greens mower, which again, they don't really take a whole lot. They tend to be pretty robust machines. Then that would be the way I'd go. I mean, if the thing that's most important to you is the best cut quality, the John Deere or the Toro are going to be the best option. And then again, for me, you didn't ask that, but I would say like the Revolution would be where I would go over the McLean or Swordman. All right. So hope that helps. That's cool. The wife is supporting as far as letting you get some new equipment. That's also pretty cool. So yeah, you can't really go wrong with any of them. Another consideration too is depending on where you are in the country, whichever one you can get parts for easier. So in your area, if there happens to be like a Toro dealer or a John Deere dealer and they can do the maintenance, that's also gonna be something I would consider too. In other words, I wouldn't go buy, say, a Toro and in your within 20, 30 miles of your house, the only person or only companies that really service mowers are John Deere, and then vice versa. So probably more important than the mower you get is that the ease of being able to get parts and service for whenever you do need that. All right. So let us know what you end up with. Again, congrats, convincing the wife to let you get some cool hardware, and you will. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Just keep it sharp, keep it well adjusted, and you will. You'll really enjoy the lawn it's able to produce. All right. Next up, we got Mr. Robert Rainey. So what's going on, Robert? He says, good evening. So Robert, guys, so let me give you a little bit of background. So Robert, Golf Course Lawn Academy member, he has taken on the challenge this fall of overseeding his Bermuda grass with perennial ryegrass. And he sent a picture, like a little collage before the show, as Robert is prone to do, to show how the lawn was before the transition to killing off or cutting down the scalping the existing Bermuda grass, and then seeding, and then the ryegrass coming in. So while I can talk, it's easier to show than talk. So you can see we're here at the top. This, where it was nice and green, looking incredible, that is Bermuda grass. And then if we scroll up a little bit, this is also Bermuda grass. It's just Bermuda grass that's been scalped to within, I don't know, millimeters of its life, right? So it's been scalped really low. He just thinned things out quite a bit, and then he overseeded with perennial ryegrass. And now, looking today, this is the first cut. He said he's got it at 1 inch, but that's just the start, right? He's going to get it down to more reasonable heights for the greens mower here over the next month or so. But you can tell that's the stripes on ryegrass are a thing of beauty. So if you look at Bermuda, I mean, this is good. This is good. This is, you always say excellent, but there's a depth to the color, a depth to the stripe action. Again, this is not even really filled in, not fully grown in yet. Even with it being thin, the dark green, the crispiness of the stripes. I gotta say that the ryegrass is probably going to be the Bermuda here in the next month or so once it fully comes in. So Robert, thanks so much for sending the pictures. Great work as always, and can't wait to see. Probably say a month, probably like end of September. So another, how much more time do we got in September? Another 18 days, thereabouts. End of the month, it should be looking really good. At that point, he'll probably be putting the crosshatch stripes in it, get the checkerboard going, and then we'll be able to truly compare Bermuda in all its glory, Bermuda in transition, and then ryegrass in all its glory, right? We'll be able to compare. So, this actually be really cool, Robert, because you do such a good job with documenting the things that you do to your lawn. For anyone that wants to know, hey, if I go from Bermuda to ryegrass, what's the difference between the two of them? Like we talk about a Bermuda lawn that's epic, that's very well loved, and then you have a ryegrass lawn, same properties, same nutrient program, but also is getting getting that golf course lawn program. What's the difference visually between the two of them? So we're looking forward to this, man. It's going to be pretty awesome. Definitely keep us posted as far as how it develops. It's looking good. You're off to a great start, I'll tell you that. All right, next up is Mr. Frank V. Not Frank R, not Frank Z, but Frank V. He says, hey, Ron, Northeast Florida here. My reel mower is floating a bit. Hate it when that happens. Too late to verticut, you think? Should I just leave it until next season? Thank you, sir. Well, here's the thing. Normally I would say wait, right? But given that you're in Northeast Florida, you guys, your winters are, I mean, much more mild than what we have. Here's how I would do this, make this decision, Frank. If you are still mowing the lawn, twice per week, if the grass is still growing, fairly aggressively, maybe not as fast as it was, say, in July and August, but it's still growing quite a bit to where you have to mow it a couple times per week to stay on top of it, then yeah, if you want to do a light verticut, I'd be completely good with that. If you're like how my lawn is, so I did an experiment this week, so again, it pains me to say this, I mowed my lawn on Sunday, and the next time I mowed it, shock horror, was yesterday. That's the longest I've gone all season between mows. Literally, so I mowed on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's like 4 days before the next cut, and not a whole lot really came off. So the lawn has really slowed down as far as how quickly it's growing. Interesting, the zoysia is actually producing, I think, per pass, more clippings than the Bermuda is at this point, which is kind of cool. So we'll see how long the zoysia holds on to its color and the rate of growth compared to the Bermuda, because the Bermuda seems to be checking out already. So say a lot to say, Frank, if you want to go ahead and do a light verticut, I think you'd be just fine, given that you're in Northeast Florida. Again, the way to decide this is, are you still regularly mowing several times per week? In other words, if you do what I just did, right? So I mowed Sunday and then mowed again yesterday. If that's going to create a huge mess in your lawn, if you were to even attempt that, the grass is likely growing often enough that you can get by with a light verticut. So I would say go light, thin the lawn out just a little bit, and you should be just fine given where you are in the country and the weather that Florida tends to have this time of year. All right. So great question, sir. Keep us posted as far as which way you end up deciding to go. All right, next up is Mr. Jackie Bear. He says, hello and have an excellent stream, sir. Happy weekend all. Thanks so much, Jackie. I really do appreciate that. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully your shoulder's gotten better. I know you had like a shoulder issue there. It's probably been several months now, like earlier this season. So hopefully you're on the mend. Next, we got Dwayne Graham. Says, good evening. What's going on, Dwayne? Hopefully you are doing well. And then next we have a question from Mr. Jared George, all about height of cut resets, plant growth regulator. Let's get into it. He says, so realistically, for my Bermuda, I'm cutting at 5/8. Do I have time to height of cut reset to 7/16 and then go back to 5/8, or am I at the point where I need to put it on cruise control? Any more PGR apps? Okay, so you're looking at scalping it just under 1/2 inch and you're mowing it just over 1/2 inch. Here's what I would tell you, Jared. How often are you having to mow the lawn at 5/8, this time of year? If you're still mowing every other day, then yeah, if you want to go out and reduce the height of cut, you can. I typically would not recommend that. Like for me, I wouldn't make a height of cut change in September. So unless there's a really good reason to do it, I'd like to just leave it where it is and just kind of ride things out. I mean, you wouldn't think that going, 7/16, so just under 1/2 inch to back up to 5/8 would be much, but it's enough to take the color out of the lawn, and depending on where you are in the country, what the temperatures are like, it may not come back. We're about mid-September, so depending on how temps are where you are and what the forecast is looking like, it may not come back. So if it were me, I'd probably just write it out. I really would, because I think you're unlikely to get to get a full recovery as far as color goes between now and when Bermuda really begins slowing down. You're not going to hurt the lawn or anything, but it's just if your goal is to do this and then have the lawn look really nice, lush, green. I don't know if there's quite enough season left, depending on again where you are in the country, for that to take place. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Good question. Let us know which way you decide to go. Yeah, at this point, I'd say cruise control. Unless you're on that Robert Rainey life where you're planning on, overseeding, I'd say just leave it where it is and ride it out the rest of the season. Okay, Jason Harrison is up next. He says, hey friends, just checking and looking forward to the chat. Make sure you get that pre-emergent down. Don't be that guy. Yeah. That's good advice, Jason. So for any of you that are new to the live stream, new to the golf course lawn store, and just our program, what he's talking about is a special type of weed killer, special type of herbicide called pre-emergent. And kind of as the name implies, the way pre-emergent works is you apply it, water it in, and it helps prevent weeds from going in your lawn. But for it to really work its magic, you have to have it applied and watered in prior to the weeds emerging, hence the name pre-emergent. I mean, you got to give it to the landscape into the lawn care industry, to pretty unique names, right? So pre-emergent, kind of in the name as far as of what it does and when you should apply it timing wise to get a good result. So, I always tell folks, unless you are planning to overseed this fall, like Robert, or you got a cool season lawn and you're planning to overseed, perhaps thicken it up to recover some damage that you may have gotten over the summer months. If that's not you, to where you're just enjoying the fact that your cool season lawn is beginning to come into its own and start recovering from all the heat stress of summer, like unless you're definitely planning to overseed, pre-emergent is one of the best decisions you can make in your fall lawn care program to reduce the amount of weeds you're going to fight during the fall, winter, and then even next spring. So, again, we talk about it a lot for warm season folks, but really for all grass types, both warm and cool season grass, unless you're planning on overseeding this fall, you really do want to apply pre-emergent. And in many ways, I'd almost say it's more important for cool season folks to do that more so than warm season. Reason being is that if you think about one of the weeds that's really difficult to control in both warm and cool season lawns, right? Annual bluegrass, Poa annua. So you got Poa annua, and also its cousin, rough stock bluegrass like Poa trivialis. For a warm season lawn, so if you got zoysia, Bermuda, St. Augustine, centipede, we have certainty. We have certainty. We have a bunch of other options too, but certainty is one of the most common ones. But certainty will do it. Recognition will do it. There's a slew of herbicides you can use to control annual bluegrasses in warm season turf. It's still not the best way to go. I mean, I just say prevent it in the first place, but we have a way of dealing with it after the fact. With cool season lawns, less so, especially if you have a lawn that has Kentucky bluegrass in it. So if you got a ryegrass lawn or a fescue lawn, then you could use Velocity PM to control, Poa annua and Poa trivialis. But if you've got a bluegrass lawn, KBG lawn, some cultivars of KBG tolerate this, some do not. The only way to really know, and we have like a list on our website under the product description for this, but it's really just to test it, to see, spray a small area and see if your bluegrass tolerates Velocity or if it doesn't. Or you can avoid all this headache or greatly reduce it by simply applying pre-emergent. So if you're not overseeding, applying pre-emergent now, and then for a cool season lawn, a few weeks before you're expecting your first frost. So to kind of extend the coverage as long as you can into the springtime is really going to pay dividends as far as, again, keeping weeds under control now, this fall, this winter, and again, even into next year. So just a little PSA that pre-emergent is really important. One of the best decisions you can make as far as keeping weeds out of your lawn and ultimately saving yourself some headache and money by not having to use a lot more expensive options after the fact to control it. So as Jason Harrison so eloquently put it, don't be that guy. Get your pre-emergent out unless you're overseeding your lawn. All right. And in case you want to know all about pre-emergent, we have a blog post that was done all about fall pre-emergent. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's free. So you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to resources, and then blog. And right there, you've got your fall weed control guide. So talks about why why fall weed control matters, why it's important. Here's all the bad things can happen to you if you don't do it. Talks about pre-emergent, gives you options. So completely worth a read. At least I think so. So take a look at that. And again, in addition to weed control in the fall, if you're wondering about what fertilizers are a great fit for your lawn this fall, we've got an updated version of that too. So both these were recently updated for this fall. So feel free to take a look at that, as well as one that's dedicated to pre-emergent. So you got like on weed control, you got one on fall fertilizer, and you got one on pre-emergent. So there's no excuse, none whatsoever to not to get pre-emergent on your lawn. We got plenty of info there as far as how to do it. And whether you get it from us or get it from wherever you decide to get it from, I implore you to please apply pre-emergent. Your life will be so much better next spring if you do. All right. And if you guys are wondering, like, where can I find that blog that place that he was talking about in the store, you can find everything right here. So I'll just call it lawn care blog, and we'll post it in the chat for everyone to be able to check out. All right. So there, and I'll post it on for all the platforms so everybody can get it. Okay, cool stuff. And as far as timing, one thing I think I've did a show dedicated to this topic already when it comes to pre-emergent. While like Poa annua, which is the weed that we're most really trying to manage and keep out of our lawns, it really starts germinating when soil temps are like in the mid 60s. If your soil temps are in the 70s, like I say 75 degrees or cooler, and it's trending cooler, get your pre-emergent out. As a general rule, a bit early is better than late. In other words, I would not say I'm going to wait until the absolute last minute to apply my pre-emergent. If you think about it, like you apply it now in September, right? Let's say, for example, we'll talk to our cool season brothers and sisters for a second. So you apply prodiamine as your fall pre-emergent, right? Prodiamine has like a 3 to 4 month residual in most cases. So even if you applied it now, which could be early, depending on where you are, right? But we're in mid-September. So mid-September to October, that's 1 month. Mid-October to November, that's 2 months. Even if we go from to November, it's highly unlikely that we can get all the way into December and you guys with cool season lawns are not going to already have your first frost by that point. So the fact that we're going to do another app a few weeks before then, there's really no negative to doing it now. So do an app now, and then a few weeks before your first frost, apply again to kind of extend that coverage, and then you're just really setting yourself up for success as far as is keeping your lawn weed free. Yeah, warm season turf grass, I'm of the same opinion, especially if you're using something like Spectacle Flow. There's literally no reason to not do it now. Like every time I drive out of my neighborhood, like name like any of the lawn care services, like all the popular ones you know about, they're already spraying Spectacle on the lawns in the area. So you do an app now, you do another one in say November, December. Again, we're talking 2 to 3 months from now. That's going to more than, in other words, even if you apply it early, the residual is more than enough to cover you until your next app. And then when you do your final one, it'll take you into spring. So all that to say, there's not a lot of reason, in my opinion, to really try and say I'm going to like track soil temps and get it exactly dead nuts right before I go out and apply my pre-emergent when you're going to be doing a second app anyway to extend that coverage. All right, I'll stop talking about this. Hopefully I've encouraged you to at least consider applying pre-emergent on your lawn. If not, we'll be talking again in the spring when we're talking about like how to get rid of all the weeds that you could have avoided. All right. Okay, next up, we have, let's see here. We have Mr. Spencer Sharp 98. He says, evening, Ron. What's the difference between a height of cut reset and lowering incrementally over several weeks to reach the desired height of cut? Okay, yes, that's a good question. So a height of cut reset is, say I'm mowing at 3/4 of an inch. That's where I'm normally maintaining my lawn. A height of cut reset is a more drastic change from one height of cut to the other. So instead of a situation where we're slowly, say, working a lawn that got overgrown down slowly over time, with a height of cut reset, if I decide that my lawn, for example, one of the gentlemen that was talking earlier, his mower starting to float, so he wants to do a light scalp as a way to help recover that. A height of cut reset is a more drastic change in a height of cut from one mowing session to the next versus slowly stepping it down over time. Can you do both? Yeah. I mean, either way will work. One just takes a lot more time. You know what I mean? So if your goal is to go from fixing a cutting issue in the lawn as quickly as possible, most people with warm season grass opt to either verticut it or just drop the height of cut to 1/4 of an inch or so below where they're currently maintaining it, and then allow the lawn to grow back in, and then you're able to quickly fix the problem versus extending it out over several weeks. During the growing season, if you take like say July timeframe, right? You do a height of cut reset, say from like 3/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Within 10 days, you're gonna probably less than that. You're gonna have a hard time telling anything really happened. Like the lawn is growing so quickly that it's gonna recover. Versus if you say I'm gonna go, 0.75 to 0.65, and then from 0.65 to 0.55, and from 0.55 to 0.45. You start to work it down over time to try and maintain color or whatever it is you're trying to do. It's going to take longer, and I don't think personally it's the best way to go if the reason why you're doing it is to thin out the lawn and just recover and restore a good cut to your mower as quickly as possible. So there are different ways of getting to of lowering the height of cut. They just serve different purposes. So I would say lowering incrementally over time would be appropriate for a case where, let's say I'm maintaining my lawn at 3/4 of an inch, right? I go on vacation As if, right? I go on vacation, it gets up to like an inch and a tenth, 1.1 inches or 1.25 inches. And instead of deciding I'm going to just scalp it down to where it was before, I say, you know what, I'm just going to take a couple of weeks and just slowly work my way down, every other mow, just dropping it a little bit and just as it slowly gets down there. It's going to take a lot longer, but I'll preserve the color while I do that. So to me, they serve different purposes. All right. So if that helps, Spencer, great question. If you need anything else, let me know. But yeah, it's a good question. But again, if you have a warm season lawn, unless you're in Florida where it's likely still hot right now, I wouldn't be doing that kind of stuff this time of year. Okay, next up is Jason Harrison. He says, I'd ask when the next time Lee's going to be on, but I'm sure he doesn't want me waving the Verticutter banner again. It's a good question. I got to check in with Lee, man. I haven't spoken to him in a minute. But yeah, I can see if he wants to come on, or if he's planning a turf park party for this year still. I know the plan was to do it in the spring, but they're super busy. So I'm not sure if there's any plans to do it in the fall. We'll see. You'd think if it's going to happen that around now would be the time to start planning it. But, other than crazy busy with the other mower, because they got the 26 inch, the 20 inch, and just everything else is going on. They're just really, really busy. So we'll see. All right, next up is Dwayne Graham. He says, just bought a new home, finding several saucer-sized black spots in the lawn. Any ideas? Hard to say without pictures. It could be disease. It could be animal damage. It's hard to say without pictures, Dwayne. It's hard to say without pictures. If it's an area of the lawn where you see there's a lot of shade and it's holding a lot of moisture, it could be algae. I think it's tough to say exactly what it is without pictures of what you're dealing with. Thing I would tell you is this, though: with a new lawn, especially if it's the grass hasn't been maintained, one of the first things I would tell you is just start mowing it, like regular mowing. And by regular mowing, I mean like at least twice a week, so weekends and then one time during the week, is really going to do a lot for really helping to stimulate growth in the grass. You might find just getting on a good program and regularly maintaining the lawn that it might start it is going to start looking better. And then at that point, we may decide whether or not there's anything that really needs to be done to treat whatever happens to be going on in a lawn. But I wouldn't jump into a brand new lawn that's been kind of neglected and be the first thing I'm going to do is to throw a ton of stuff at it before I even begin mowing it. Now, if you see an area and you say, hey, yeah, this is obviously large patch, or there's obviously I've got insect damage, then sure, yeah, in that case, fine. But if you're talking about a lawn that's been a bit overgrown, not really taken care of, just put a sharp mower on it for a few weeks, then reassess how it's looking, and then at that point you can come up with a plan for applying curative treatments if necessary. All right, congrats on the new house. Okay, next up is Mark Ultenbruns. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Is there anything to give my Bermuda a final punch of green? Mow it, and you can, it's still September, so you can still feed it. Like I gave my lawn, let me think. It's other than weaning it off plant growth regulator, my lawn still is getting the same program it's been getting throughout the season. So it got a Humic Max 1608 the beginning of September, and it's still getting sprayed with the liquid micronutrient, with the liquid stack that I use every couple of weeks. So if you're still doing that, if you're still feeding it like you did in July and earlier in the season, and the color's starting to go away, it could be just a temperature thing, and there's not a whole lot you really can do about that. What I would not recommend is going out there and trying to throw a bunch of nitrogen, like tons of heavy applications of iron at it to try and make the lawn do something that it doesn't want to do. So I'd say keep feeding it, keep mowing it, and allow it, just allow the lawn to do what it's going to do is what I would say. I would not personally throw a ton of iron at it to try and make the grass do something that it really doesn't want to. All right. It's a good question, Mark. I know we want to keep that mean green around as long as possible, but if you're someone that really has got to have it green for all fall and winter and maybe even the spring, maybe you need to get on that Robert Rainey program. Now, granted, I'm not personally doing that, but if you want it to be green all year, this man is showing the way. That's his Bermuda grass. Being smacked within an inch of its life, being cut down really short to get ready for the ryegrass overseed, And that's what it looks like as of today. Today he put his first mow on it. So if you really want it to be green year round, this is obviously obviously an option. It's just a really big commitment. So you have to decide whether or not that is for you or not. All right. Hope that helps, sir. Next up is Mel Allen. He says, howdy, folks. Turf Talk rules. I appreciate that, Mel. Thanks for coming to hang out. Looks like, man, look at you in your avatar. People sometimes have their football teams. They have like pictures of themselves, pictures of their kids, but not you. You got pictures of your babies. Looks like you got two, looks like a rotary mower, a push reel mower, and the one on the right, I can't tell what it is, but I can tell you're obviously, very much into your lawn care. So I appreciate that. Next up is Robert Rainey. He says, the sweet aroma of freshly cut rye Bermuda, it just hits different. Nice. No, wait a minute. So there's a smell to fresh cut grass, and you're saying that rye Bermuda has a different essence to it that is quite appealing. You like it more than you like the Bermuda, the fresh cut Bermuda grass smell. Okay, all right. I hear you, Robert. But I mean, that's keep us posted as far as it does. And then Hardo, he is appreciative of your work. He thinks it looks good too. And again, for anyone that's just joining the live stream, just joining the show now, Robert has done, again, Bermuda grass scalped really short to prepare for ryegrass overseed. So green, brown, green, but this is not, I'd say this is probably, what would you say, Robert? This is probably 60% of how it's going to look. I mean, it's going to look, as good as this looks already, this is not anywhere near how it's going to look in about a month or so. It's going to be incredible. So good stuff. All right, next up is True Gator Fan. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Planning for next season already. In which month should I scalp to thin out the lawn in the summer? Okay, so if you have warm season grass, I recommend a scalp at the beginning of the season, and then around late May, early June timeframe is when you would do it again. So if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, we have a calendar here that talks about our product, our applications calendar schedule, and also has been updated this year to also encompass cultural practices as well. So long and short of it, if you got warm season lawn, pre-scalp here in February. If you're not doing that, you can just do your main scalp in the month of March. Again, warm season lawns only, cool season lawns, don't be scalping your lawn. And then for you, True Gator Fan, when you do the next one depends on if you're real mowing. If you're real mowing it around here, like once we get into like the May time frame ish, right around here, May, June, end of May, early June, you're going to start getting cutting or scalping issues in areas that you did not before. So around here is where I would recommend a scalp or a verticut, again, especially if you're real mowing your lawn. And then you can probably do one, not probably, depending on, again, on your lawn growth regulator, the weather where you are, you might do one more July, August. And then that really should be pretty good for the season. So one at the beginning of the season, and then one, optionally two, mid-season, and then you should find the cut quality will stay fairly consistent throughout the year. All right. It's a lot of work, but it really does make a big difference as far as the appearance of the lawn. Like a big part of why Robert's lawn looks like this is the cultural practices. Like Robert is verticutting. I think Robert's verticut his lawn at least twice this year, maybe 3 times. I mean, you can correct me, Robert, or send me an email. Let me know how many times you've done it, but it's been at least twice. I think more. Because he's pretty religious about that, because he just loves how the lawn looks after he's done with it. All right. Okay. Next up is what do we have here? Next up, I don't know what the question. Okay. Well, okay. Next up is Frank B. Says, I'm mowing 3 times a week. Yeah. So you're mowing 2 times a week, Frank. Then yes, to answer the question as far as can you lightly verticut or thin out the lawn this time of year? Yes, you can. You're still doing it often enough. All right, so we have a Cash App. This one from Mr. Michael Thomason. Thanks so much, Michael. Let me get you up here. I apologize for the delay in doing that. Let me put some respect on your name. So Michael, make sure I spell this properly. Now, guys, Michael, while I'm doing this, he is he's the guy that migrated or renovated his lawn to go from Tipway 419 to Tahoma 31, and he's been a regular in the live stream. So there you go, Michael, your name in lights, whatever that means to you. And at first he started out with thin stripes with like a single single pass stripes. I convinced him to go to double stripes because I think that would look really good. So as of last week, you can see him going to thick stripes, and you can see that's beginning to come in nicely. And then I also suggested, hey, that looks good, but one thing to keep in mind is right now you're only cutting it in just one direction each time. So you're going to want to put in like a cross cut for best results. And he did that. So this week, he sent me some pictures showing how it's coming in with it being cut 90 degrees, trying to get that checkerboard going on, and coming in quite nicely. So that's one vantage point. It's another vantage point. So quite nice, man. Coming in good, man. Coming in good. The stripes, you see how the dark stripes are really beginning, or the double wides are really starting to get a lot more defined. So if we compare this week to, where is it? To last week. Yeah, that looks better. Looks better to my eye. So yeah, nice work, man. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. It's only going to get that much better as you keep at it. And again, by varying the mowing pattern, mowing, this way and then this way each, varying it each time, you're going to prevent like wear problems, graining issues where the grass isn't being cut properly. So yeah, overall, like varying your mowing direction each time is a good plan. Nice work. Okay, next up we have Brett May. Brett May is in the live stream. He says, hey, Ron, I think I have some Dallisgrass in my 419. Any recommendations on how to treat that? Yeah. So here's the problem, Brett, is Dallisgrass, the herbicide that is very effective against Dallisgrass, is no longer labeled for use on residential lawns. So your best bet to remove it without damaging the grass around it is just to dig it out, unfortunately. So hopefully, you have some. You didn't say I'm covered up in Dallisgrass, I'm smothered in Dallisgrass. You've got a little bit here and there, so that's what I'm reading from that. So then you can obviously dig it out. Now, you can also spot spray with glyphosate, but you're very likely to cause some injury to the grass around the Dallisgrass. So it's really your call. If you can tolerate a little bit of injury, I'll tell you, most folks say that they're fine with a little bit of injury in their lawn. They say that, but they're really not. If you can do it, then spot sprays with glyphosate would be one way to go, or you could just dig it out. That's really what I would tell you. And Brett sent some pictures in again. So he this is as one of his properties that he wanted to share with us. So he sent these pictures to me, I think yesterday or the day before. So this is where his lawn was before. I think it's like a place up near the lake. And this is like right when he got it. You can tell the lawn has seen better days, right? So he got in the golf course lawn program. He's been at it for several seasons. He's always been saying, my lawn is not really where it needs to be as yet. Because every time I see Robert's lawn, he makes me feel less than. And your lawn looks spectacular. I said, man, let me see a picture of what you're working with. So he finally sent me some pictures, and that's where it started. And this is where it is now. Believe it or not, that is the same property. You can look almost. You can look at that and see that's the same property. Looks like he's done some renovations on the house, but the lawn is it's a big change, big update, right? So from that to that is pretty good. And what's also really cool about this is you look at the tree, and he's obviously, I think he's brought the tree up, raises the tree up to where the grass around it has not thinned out as much as I would have thought it would have. So you can tell, like the canopy or the trunk is there's not any low hanging branches. What I'm trying to say, which is likely allowing it to get enough sunlight, and the grass looks really good, man. So great work. I mean, just going from where it started, lawn seen better days to where it is now, just shows, man, just persistence, good program, kind of hard to lose. So awesome work. Sorry, I don't have better recommendations for you as far as how to remove Dallisgrass. Again, dig it out or spot sprays with Roundup. I would say dig it out. But at least we're able to show everyone the results of all your handiwork. So keep going, man. Lawn looks really, really good. Keep it up. All right. Frank is weighing in about Tribute Total. He says Tribute Total works excellent for controlling Dallisgrass, but it's expensive. So here's the thing. I hear mixed results on that. So there's some folks that say that Tribute Total is the second coming of Dallisgrass control, and others say that it may yellow it up a little bit, but as far as like really controlling it and knocking it out, not great. So if you want to give it a shot, Brett, you can. It's not It's not inexpensive, but I mean, what isn't inexpensive these days, right? But it's a small bottle of Tribute. Last I checked, it was well over 300. It's probably even more now. Let's see, what does Tribute total even go for these days? Let us see. Let's see. Tribute total herbicide. Yeah, so like 400, anywhere 450, 470, almost $500, somewhere between 450 and 500 is what you'll be paying for it. So depends, how badly do you want the Dallisgrass gone, and I guess how much is an experiment worth to you? Again, if you only got a little bit here and there, I would just dig it out personally. But if you want to give Tribute total a shot, you absolutely can. That's an option as well. All right, next up is Brandon Kennedy. He says, Ron, happy Friday. In the spring, have you ever verticut before scalping? Yes, I have. If so, what was your experience? Yeah, so what I've done, actually, probably a better way of saying that, is I have verticut in lieu of scalping. So scalping is one way of thinning out the lawn. Verticutting is also another way of thinning out the lawn. In the springtime, when I've done it before, instead of just making a single pass, I've made like 2 passes. So one, if my iPad is like the lawn, I've made a pass like this, and then a pass like this with a Verticutter, and that does a really good job thinning the lawn out along the lines of what you would get with scalping. A pro to this, here's one pro to doing this, Brandon, and really it's only a pro if you have a way to catch all the debris that the Verticutter is going to put out. A pro to with doing like multiple verticutting passes versus scalping in the spring is if you're someone that likes lawn stripes, with going the verticutting route, you're able to really kind of bake in or burn in the stripes that you want. You can kind of set the pattern for the season using the Verticutter, which is kind of cool. With scalping, it's not as good of a process for that. So that's one pro to it, but I only say to consider that if you have a way of bagging or catching the clippings as you're verticutting. If you're gonna go out and verticut and then you have to go through and rake the lawn or get a blower and blow all the debris and pick it all up, then the extra work involved in cleanup just doesn't make it worth it, in my opinion. So if you got a way to catch all the clippings, you can do it in lieu of scalping if you want. I just say scalp in our calendar because pretty much everybody can scalp their lawn. Not everyone either wants to or has access to a Verticutter to be able to do it. All right. So hope that helps, sir. It's a great question, but I mean either way can work well for you. What you're going to find, Brandon, is after you verticut, you're likely going to do a cleanup mow afterwards, which will do a good job of kind of like giving the lawn a nice tidy appearance once you're done with multiple passes of verticutting. All right. Okay, next up is OG. He says, hey, Ron, should I start training my Bermuda grass to produce thicker stripes or wait till next season? Either way can work. Either way can work. If you want to start, changing up your mowing pattern now, you can. Just keep in mind that as far as it really taking between now and next year, it depends on where you are in the country, it may not get fully nicely defined. In other words, it may not look like this. We'll use Robert as an example. It may not look like that if you decide you're going to go from single stripes to double. But if you look at like what Michael Thomason did, right? So if we go back to, it'll be, let me see. So last week it was double. So 2 weeks ago, 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, his lawn was only, this is not a good one, this picture here. His lawn was only single passes. So you can see in the space of 2 weeks, this time of year, because this is what you're seeing now has happened over the past couple of weeks, he's been able to change the lawn from, let me see if I can go back and find an older one of it. He's been able to go from where he was before, which was just single passes, which is, yeah, I think I found one. Maybe. I'm not sure if this might be going back too far. This might be his top dressing. Yeah, that is too far. So yeah, it's better than that now. But yeah, I don't have the new one of when you change the lawn around. Let me take a look here. What is this guy? You can kind of still make it out from last week. You can see in from last week, this was the first week of him doing it. You can still see how the single stripes are kind of there. So in that picture, and also this picture. Yeah, this is a good one here. So you see like the double wide. That's the, let me see, so dark, going from left to right. You have dark, light, and then you have dark, but you can see how the second dark is kind of like light dark, because you can see how it was still a you can tell that stripe, the left part of the thick dark stripe, was being mowed away from us before. So if you look at that, how that is now, how that was a week or so ago, and then if you look at how it looks, see if we can find it. If you can see how it looks now, that is quite a bit better. That's quite a bit better. So yeah, if you want to OG, you want to change it, there's no harm in doing that. It just may not get as defined as you may want until next year. So yeah, if you want to go for it, by all means. Okay, next up is JP. Says, hello from Central Kansas. What's going on, JP? Hopefully you're doing all right. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream as always. I appreciate you. And then Claude Thompson. Claude from Connecticut with the Cool Season Lawn. He always wants to know, hey, cool season in the house representing. He says, Claude here from Connecticut with 2 questions for you. 1, can I apply a final carbon kit to the lawn this late in the season? Yes. Yes, you can. And then 2, can I put out 1608 and prodiamine on the same day? Thanks. Yep, you sure can. So a couple things, Claude. My last foliar spray is really into October. So you're further north. You can likely still spray a few more times this season before you really shut it down as far as that goes. Really your call, but I don't want you to think that, mid-September, you gotta be done with foliar sprays, especially with you having a cool season lawn. It's really now waking up and really starting to kind of catch its second wind. So by all means, I would keep feeding it into October, if you have the desire to do that. And as far as, doing a granular fertilizer like Humic Max 1608 and prodiamine as your pre-emergent on the same day, that works really well. The order that I would do them in is I would do the 1608 first, so the granular fertilizer first, ideally to a dry lawn. And then afterwards, you can put out your prodiamine and then water it all in. So that's how I would do it. So fertilizer followed by pre-emergent, run your irrigation. They both got to be watered in anyway. So that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Sounds like a great plan to me. I like it. And again, I would tell you to consider whether you want to really shut down your your fertilization program already. I think you still got some more time if you want. Okay. Next up, Michael Thomas says, evening, Ron and all. Your opinion on the lawn and stripes. I thought it looks great. So I know you again, thanks again for the Cash App. And yeah, again, it looks good. I would keep doing it. I'll put you this way, Michael. Mowing the lawn only in one direction is a recipe for disaster. You don't want to do that. Eventually you're going to get like wear marks in the lawn. You're going to have cutting issues. It's just not going to be as good. So at any rate, now that at any point, since you now have committed to double wides, you may as well commit to double wides in both directions. So what you did here, I like a lot. So going from how you were doing before, and then how it is like in this direction, you can almost see a little bit of checkerboard already starting to come in there. And then again, next season, you're gonna be good to go. You're gonna be good to go. So yeah, I like it. It looks good. Again, for a lawn was sodded relatively late in the season, it's looking really good, man. It's coming in quite nicely. Next year, gonna be even that much better. All right, Craig Jones is up next. He says, thanks, Ron, for your advice. Hit that like button. Yeah, guys, definitely let's do that. I know it's a quiet Friday evening. We're getting into the fall. Less folks care about their lawns. But we've got 67 of you guys in the live stream and only 36 likes. So if you guys would mind hitting that like button ever so gently, I'd really appreciate it. It costs absolutely nothing. If LG's around, I'll even put on a little bit of Tango Bolero for you. Take a sip of my my beverage tonight while I look for the next comment. All right. So next up we have Jimmy Miller. He says, Ron, which fert would work best come October 1st? A fast release 15015 or something like a 7022? I would opt for the higher potassium. I would not go with a fast release fertilizer. Personally, I wouldn't in October on Bermuda grass. I would go with with potassium because we're going to get into the point where the lawn's going to start seeing a bit more stress as temperatures cool off. I would go with the second option versus the first, but you kind of already knew that. I think you already knew that. James Smith is up next. Is evening drink. Okay, yes, so tonight. So James, this is okay. You're gonna be less proud of me on this one. Okay, you're gonna be less proud of me. but it is tasty. So Chick-fil-A, not sponsored, just I just like their products. They got rid of the pineapple dragon fruit, which again, anyone from Chick-fil-A is watching this. I mean, I get that you guys like to change things up, but some things you shouldn't really change. Like, you guys have the chicken sandwich year round. I think the pineapple dragon fruit also has kind of it's earned that spot. So pineapple dragon fruit, at least in my local Chick-fil-A's, is no longer a thing. They now have this cherry berry, and I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not as good as a pineapple dragon fruit, though, in my opinion. Here's the reason why. One, I'm not a huge cherry person. I'm not like a huge fan of like cherry drinks. Mainly because I guess part of it is it kind of reminds me, or in my mind, almost triggers like the flavor almost of like a cherry cough drop. Again, it's not like that. It's much more flavorful than that. But whenever I drink anything that's got cherry in it, that's what kind of comes to mind. So, I mean, compared to the regular lemonade, most folks would like this more than their standard lemonade, which is already spectacular. However, this would be great where pineapple dragon fruit not a thing, which it has been. So this over the pineapple dragon fruit, for me, again, just my opinion, and again, not saying it's whatever it's worth, this is a downgrade. So tonight I'm drinking that along with a bit of sparkling water, James Smith, so more sugary than usual, definitely not as healthy, but oh, so tasty. Quite tasty. Not as good as pineapple dragon fruit, though. So Chick-fil-A, if you guys can, we should add the pineapple dragon fruit as like another option year round. No reason to bring it in and take it out. Okay, so and you're doing your normal mango smoothie with some pineapple and orange blended in. So yeah, so I that sounds great. That sounds better than what I'm drinking. Yep. The pineapple dragon fruit, pineapple and mango and orange also sounds tasty. But yeah, yours is definitely healthier than what I'm having tonight, James. All right, Lori Herbert's up next. She says, hey, Ron, spectacle flow questions. Can it be watered in right after application? Yes. Can it be applied the same time as Headway G? Yes. So how I would do that is if you are putting out Headway G, so fungicide, and you're also putting out spectacle flow, Headway G is a granular, so the same kind of thing applies. I would do the granular first, apply Headway G first, follow it up with spectacle flow, and then literally as soon as you're done spraying, you finish cleaning up your equipment and put it in the garage, you can literally walk out and run your irrigation and water both of them in. There's no need to wait. You can literally water both in right after you're done applying them. No issues at all with that. So great question, Lori. The only thing that I would do, and again, you didn't ask this, as far as order, is to do the granular product first. So do the Headway G first, and then follow it up with spectacle flow, and then you will be on your way. Disease prevention or curing, and then also weed prevention. I like it. Okay, next up is James Smith. He says, we're in the 11th season out of 13. We have Tri-City area in North Carolina. So, because you're like a marathoner, right, James? I think you run. I think that's what it is. But yeah. And you said false fall. Yeah, I mean, it's cooling off, but I mean, it's, again, hopefully my explanation around why you're really not losing anything by getting your pre-emergent out early, especially if you're going to do a second application a few months down the road. There's literally only benefits to doing it, especially if you're not going to, let's say your plan is to put out, say, 0.2 of an ounce per 1,000 for spectacle over the course of the fall, right? So you could do one app, at 0.20, or you could do like a 1/10 now and do another 1/10 again if you're my neighbor, like November, December time frames. You're not like you're actually using more product, you're just spacing it out more, and again you're extending that coverage. So if it were me, I don't really see any negative to doing it other than your time. So yeah. All right, Tazin It Up is up next. He says, just completed my first lawn renovation. Couldn't have done it without all the quality information you provide. Awesome, Tazin It Up. Glad to hear that. So what kind of renovation, man? You got to give us some details. Was it like a Bermuda grass, like a renovation? Did you go do something with a cool season lawn? You got to give us some details as far as what you did. Glad to hear the content was helpful, but yeah, we want details. We want details. Again, Robert has set the standard. Like whenever you say you're doing a reno, and we did this. This is the kind of when it comes to time to turn in your project work, this is what I want to see. Like where we started, where we were in the middle, and where we are now, and then where we're going to be, you know, what the end state is going to be. So this is kind of showing the example of what we're looking for, you know. All right. So next up is Jared George. He says, I'm mowing every other day or sometimes every day still. Clippings are lower, but I'm still on a PGR. Yeah. So in that case, Jared, if you want to do I guess a high to cut reset, you can. Just know that there is a chance that if you get a cold snap here, and then probably unlikely to happen in September, but if that happens, that your lawn may not fully come back green before it really begins to check out for the fall. So just if you're good with that, then and for you having a cleaner cut is worth that potential. Let's even say risk, but just that having to potentially live with a lawn that doesn't come back 100%, then yeah, go for it. There's not really a downside other than a potential visual negative, right? May not look as nice as you want, but as far as the grass goes, you're not going to hurt it. It's not either way. It's not going to damage the grass. It's really up to you whether or not you you think it's going to come back over the course of given how much hot weather you have left in your part of the country. All right, next up is Wise Guy. He says, good evening, Ron. Thanks for your informative videos. My soil test on point, especially with the 714 on Bermuda. I miss my zoysia. Your zoysia is awesome. Perry, thanks so much for that, Perry. I really do appreciate it. You know, I was going to say I wasn't going to show zoysia today. Here's the thing. To even tempt myself to not show any zoysia today, because apparently all the Bermuda folks have been saying, hey, you're turned into a zoysia channel. I didn't even go out today and film an update. You know, so there's not like a fresh update of the zoysia, but it still looks great. So looking really nice. I mean, how it looks, how it looks today is how it looked last week. Y'all want to see? It looked like that, kind of just like that. Just like that. That's how it looked. That's how it looked, just like that. And if you want to see in motion, poetry in motion, that's it. That's the zoysia right there. That's how it's looking. And I will still argue for the front lawn, sloped front lawn, the Bermuda, while it also looks great, it never quite striped like that. So zoysia, at least for the front lawn, was a good choice. Plus it's fun. It's like a new toy, something nice to play with, right? So we'll see next year if I still love it as much as I love it this year. All right. So we have James Smith says, we have 13 seasons here. Winter, full spring, second winter, spring of deception, third winter, the pollinating. That's pretty good. The pollinating, mud season, actual spring, summer, hell's front porch, fall's fall, second summer, actual fall. Sounds about right. That sounds about right. Georgia's not that far off from that. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, James. I like that. It's pretty funny. The 13 seasons, especially if you're someone that is outside. All right, next up is Cedric G. Says, Big Ron, King Bermuda is getting sleepy. It's almost night time. I noticed it with my back lawn too, man. It's starting to slow down. Fert down, stripe action forever. You know, Bermuda is starting to slow down for me already. But such is life. Wise Guy's up next. He says, is it a good time to apply pre-emergent, spray prodiamine, temps still in the upper 80s, expecting high temps next week also. It's really your call, Wise Guy. I would say yes. So I would still apply pre-emergent now, because you can do another app in late November, December, and that just it pretty much ensures if anything, any of your warm weather weeds that will begin germinating this time of year, like your annual bluegrass, your chickweed, your henbit, it's like, why not be ahead of all of that, especially when you're going to refresh it in a couple of months anyway. You know what I mean? Like there's really no negative to being a bit early. There are definitely some potential negatives to being a bit late. And again, if you look at like the pro services that spray lawns for a living, and their business is keeping lawns weed free, or people or their customers will fire them, they're already out spraying, putting out pre-emergent on lawns. So to answer your question, yes, I would absolutely get out prodiamine now, and then get another app out November, December. I think you're in Alabama, so December-ish, like late November, early December. All right. Okay, next up is the Trilla from Manila. He says, hey, Ron, and happy Friday, everyone. Here to enjoy the show. Thanks so much, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. You know, too, Trilla, I think you have zoysia, don't you? At some point, you got to send me a picture of your lawn, your zoysia. I'm sure it's looking nice. I mean, I want to see what you're working with as far as your zoysia lawn. You know, we got a cash out from Brandon Kennedy. Thanks so much, Brandon. I appreciate that. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna, even though Michael didn't, I'll put you up here as well. Put a little respect on your name. Let's go here. So Michael Thomason and Brandon Kennedy. And I would say BK, but then you can be like, no, man, it's really me. All your family, your friends gonna be like, that could have been anybody. He didn't spell your name. So I'm like, look, it's really me. So there you go, Michael Thompson and Brandon Kennedy. Thanks so much, guys. Again, appreciate all of the love and support. All right, so next up we have OG. He says, hey, Ron, my dad's cool season grass that was just overseeded last week, but he should have put down pre-emergent first. When can I put down pre-emergent to help out his lawn? And since he's already overseeded. Yeah, so a couple things. One, as far as pre-emergent and overseeding a lawn, I would not do that. The closest, the one product you can use that can behave as like a pre-emergent for 3 to 4 weeks without a lot of the negatives of like a real pre-emergent, like prodiamine, spectacle, dithiopyr, is tenacity. So say you have a cool season lawn, some folks that are planning to do an overseed, especially if they thin out the lawn, they will go out and apply tenacity, water it in, and then it can behave like a pre-emergent for a few weeks. Given that you've already overseeded, personally, I wouldn't put out pre-emergent because when that new grass is beginning to germinate, it's trying to start throwing out roots and beginning to start getting established. Pre-emergent will negatively impact that process. You know, it's going to damage the roots and likely kill some of the grass seed that he just put down. So, if we could go back in time, like if we could Thanos snap and go back to before he did it, he could have done tenacity and watered it in and used that as a pre-emergent. Because the residual is not very long, but using something like prodiamine, especially after he just recently did it, I would not do that. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I wouldn't want to take the chance of him damaging the grass seed that he just put down. So what I'd say is if he's got weeds, you can spot spray. You know, find an appropriate herbicide that will control the weed that you're going after and do that. You can continue mowing it. You can continue feeding it because that's another way of managing weeds. Like if you can grow a nice, thick, healthy stand of turf grass, that's like natural weed control. It makes it more difficult for weeds to come in if your lawn is thick and healthy. And feeding it with a good fertilizer, quality fertilizer, is a way to help support that. That's what I would tell you. So a good nutrient program, regular mowing, and then where necessary, you can spot spray with a post-emergent herbicide to control that. But I really would avoid pre-emergent on a newly overseeded lawn because you just run the risk of damaging the grass that he's probably spent a lot of money and time, you know, trying to grow in. So hope that helps, sir. Sorry I don't have a better answer for you, but at least it prevents you from going out and doing something to be helpful and cause a problem in the process. All right. All right. Next up is Jason Carney. He says, have you heard any updates from Lee on the Verticutter from Real Rollers? No, I have not. And I know that I've not heard where that is other than what you guys heard last time. And if there's any updates on the Verticutter, Lee would be the one to share that. So no, I haven't heard anything new. I mean, is it something that's still in the cards? I very much believe so. How far along it is in development, that I don't know. Again, I haven't been over there in a hot minute. Again, they've been really busy this season, so I got to catch up with him now that things are slowing down a little and find out. But I mean, if he'll come on the show, you can absolutely ask him that question. He may or may not answer it, but as far as what I know, it's still a thing. How far along it is, I do not know though. All right. Sylvia Williams is up next. She says, hey, Ron, I've lived in my house for 12 years and I've never had lawn disease like this. What would you recommend? Well, that's sorry to hear that, Sylvia. I'd say fungicide. A couple of things. There's like managing disease in your lawn. Fungicide will help, can in a preventative way can help prevent it from being a problem. But the thing we'd also want to dig into is in the 12 years you've lived there, you've never had issues with disease. What is different about this year from years past? Did you change your nutrient program where you're fertilizing perhaps a lot heavier? Is your mowing equipment, have you increased your mowing, but also not really maintained your cutting equipment to where you're tearing at you're not doing a clean cut to the grass, which again increases the likelihood of you having disease problems? Are you watering a lot heavier this year than you have in years past? So any of those things, over fertilization, mowing with dull equipment, over watering, all of those can contribute or can create conditions where disease can really become a problem. So I'd want to know that. We want to figure out like what everything what's the Swiss cheese here that lined up that caused this year to be different from years past. And then again, fungicide is going to be the way to help recover the lawn. The thing to keep in mind with fungicide is you apply it and it will arrest the spread of the pathogen, meaning it's going to prevent it from getting worse, and then which is going to allow the lawn to recover over time. So if you've got like a cool season lawn, you still have a couple of months of growing left that the lawn should come back pretty nicely. If you have a warm season lawn like Bermuda, Zoysia, St. Augustine, depending on where you are in the country, you may find that it may not fully recover this season. So I can show you some options, and we'll come back to the calendar and we'll talk about how you can help prevent this problem going forward. So if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to shop and fungicide and insecticides. We have an option for a liquid fungicide, Pillar SC, and we have a granular fungicide in the form of Headway G. Either of these will work well. They're both excellent products. Both have 2 fungicides in them. For lawns that have active disease problems, I'm a fan of using the liquid more so than granular, but if granular is your preference, both will work well. Either one of these will work well. And the cost per application with the liquid is less than the cost per application with granular, meaning this bottle will cover more than the granular will. All right. So that's what you would apply. You do now. You'll do an application and then 14 days later, do another application. And that should really stop things from getting worse and allow the lawn to recover. Now, for next year, assuming we're going to be sure that we're sensible with our watering, sensible with our fertilization program, and make sure our mowing equipment is kept nice and sharp, what's a good fungicide program that for the most part keeps diseases out of lawns that are highly maintained, right? Which is, I'm guessing that's what your lawn is going to be. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching a lawn care live show on a Friday night. So if you go to resources and then lawn care schedule, and then monthly application schedule, what we recommend, and I've found this to work really well for both cool and warm season lawns. Again, we have folks from Washington to Florida that follow this program and get really good results with it. Is if you apply fungicide preventively once in the month of May and then again in the month of June, because that is when temperatures begin transitioning from cooler to warmer, and in most parts of the country is also when we get a lot of rain. So the conditions just from Mother Nature just are ones that can contribute to disease, being more of an issue in your lawn. So doing a fungicide app in May and then in June, and then pretty much you should be good then until we get into October and November. I would also recommend a fungicide app in each of those months. Doing using fungicide preventatively that way is going to do a lot to help prevent disease issues in your lawn. And in my opinion, fungicide, much like pre-emergent, is best used preventatively versus waiting there for there to be like a disease problem, like visually in your lawn, and then use a fungicide to try and correct it. You know what I mean? Because it's not like by applying a fungicide, it quickly reverses the damage. I can give you an example of what I'm talking about. So if you, I think it's under Headway. So if we go look at Headway, right? Headway G. In here, you'll see a lawn, happening my lawn. This is several years ago where I had some large patch in it. So you see that ring of death and sadness in my Bermuda grass lawns. This is 2 weeks before, did an application of Headway G. And then a couple weeks later, if you look, you can still make it out. You can still make out the ring a little bit, but I mean, you can see that for the most part, applying Headway has stopped it from getting worse. And given that this, I believe if memory serves me, this was like in late April, early May when this happened. The lawn was able to recover, but you can still make it out. So I show this to say that if I had fungicide in the lawn prior to these conditions, like if I just prevent this in the first place, then I'm not having to wait for it to look like that. Because again, so 2 weeks later it looks better, but then really you're looking at like a 3 weeks to a month before it's fully recovered. So all that to say that it's next year, I would really consider a May-June fungicide application, and then again in the fall. And again, throughout all of this, whenever you're mowing the lawn, keep your equipment sharp. Make sure your mower is sharp. Don't over-fertilize it. Don't over-water it. If you do those things, you should have a lot less issues with disease in your lawn. All right? So hope that helps. Sorry that you are you're dealing with that, but it can get better. It can improve. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. It'll get better. All right, Sylvia. All right, so next up we have Devin Demir's in the line. What's going on, man? He says, what's going on, Ron? Looking forward to some good turf talk. I'm going to try my best, Devin. I don't know how good it's going to be, but it's going to be, I'm here, right? And again, whenever you get a chance, no rush, no pressure. Let me know some dates of when, what will work well for you as far as coming to hang out on the live stream, talk about cool season grass, show off the cool stuff you've been working on. You know, the folks always like that. The cool season folks feel the love when you come on the show. Like when I talk, I mean, I talk about some cool season grass a little bit, but they really, really feel appreciated when you come on because you're all about cool season grass, you know? So let's make sure that everybody feels included. All right, Toucan Sam is up next. He says, Ron, where can I send photos of my lawn? I'm on a slope and I want to get your opinion on how you would mow it if it was your slope. Yes, you can send pictures to my email, which is ron@golfcourselawn.com, right there. You can email them there. I can try and get them on the show tonight if you get them sent to me soon enough. And again, I mean, it's probably too late. It's probably dark with you already. But if you can, take the pictures in landscape. Like turn your phone like this instead of like this. Like portrait, this is okay. This is better because you look at me on your screen right now, I'm in like widescreen. So if you take a picture like this, it's easier for me to format for this. But whatever you got, I'm happy to take a look at it. Long and short, even without looking at your lawn, now again, Bermuda grass, folks, avert your eyes. Some zoysia is going to come on the screen. Anything I can do about it right now, but I mean, it's a good example to be able to explain, answer the man's question. Okay, I'm not trying to show off my zoysia. I'm just trying to help him out. Okay, so don't get on me. Okay, so if we look here, I will pause it right there. Okay, so as far as mowing a sloped lawn, I find you get the best results by mowing it diagonally like what you see there. With the zoysia, every now and then, because I just feel like cutting it more because I really enjoy it, I will mow lengthwise, but I pretty much always finish up with a diagonal cut. The reason for that is if you think about the way the weight of the mower is distributed on a slope, if you mow, we'll use my iPad as an example. Let's say this is our slope, all right? If I mow lengthwise like this, this being the lower part of the slope, this being the higher part, the weight of the mower, even though you may not really see it, like the part of the mower that, especially if it's a real mower, that is lower is going to be carrying more weight than the upper part. So if I'm mowing this way, this, like my pinky finger, is going to cut a bit shorter than where my index finger is, right? So if this were a real mower, this section is going to be cut a little bit shorter than this. So what happens if you mow it like just like lengthwise, you tend to get this like terracing effect, which again, from a distance, it doesn't look bad, but if you're really picky, you're going to see. You're literally going to be able to see, like, especially from cut to cut, like from this, we'll use this stripe, from this stripe to this stripe, you're going to be able to see like a little low, this is going to be lower than right here. It's going to be like almost like a little ridge that's going to get cut on the lower part of the stripe above it, right? So I don't really recommend mowing this way all the time. What I find produces the most even cut, as even as you can get on a slope, is mowing diagonally, because the weight of the mower is more evenly distributed when you're mowing like diagonally versus if you're mowing lengthwise. The worst way, in my opinion, is to mow straight up and down like this. If you mow straight up and down the slope, from a safety standpoint, it's not great because, you know, for slipping and this kind of thing, it's just not as a good idea to mow straight up and down a slope. But when you're mowing uphill, the stripe is going to be cut quite like noticeably higher than when you're mowing down, where the cut's going to be lower. So you're going to have like higher cut, lower. Say we're going downhill first, right? So it's going to be like lower, higher, lower, higher, and that's going to look really, that's you're definitely going to notice. So of the three ways to mow it, mowing up and down, straight up and down the slope, my least favorite. Really don't recommend it, both from a safety and just a cut standpoint. It really stinks. It does not look good if you do that way. The next would be mowing lengthwise, which is not, I mean, it's definitely better than mowing up and down. The best way is diagonally. Like, it's going to produce the best appearance overall, as we can see in Exhibit Zoysia. Like, if you look here, overall, I mean, you don't really, if I pause it, kind of hard to make out, but if you pause it, you don't really see any high or low spots in the diagonal stripes. I'm sure, I mean, they are there. Like you could even argue that like if you look at the dark stripe that's in, like we count from left to right. So like the third stripe, the dark one, right? Like the right side of that dark stripe is likely, like the height of cut is likely a little bit, just a little bit shorter, a little bit lower than the left side of it, because the mower, even though we're splitting the difference and cutting diagonally, like that side of the mower is still lower on the slope than the other side of it. But it's so much less pronounced that you're going to have a harder time seeing it. So without even looking at the pictures of your lawn, I can tell you that mowing diagonally is going to be the way to go. Looks like your picture just came in here. Let's see what you're working with here. Man, you got me thinking you got like a crazy slope. Okay, we're still going to show it. We're still going to show it. But I mean, look, when you say you got a slope, Toucan Sam, I mean, we have different definitions of slope. But okay, well, we're still going to bring it up. We're going to show everybody what you're working with. Okay, so for your sloped lawn, which is not, I mean, not crazy sloped, still diagonally. I mean, with this, even mowing lengthwise, you really shouldn't have too much terracing from, unless I'm looking at this, unless the picture's just really flattening it to where it doesn't look, it's more steep than it looks like, which it probably is, but that, I still consider this to be mild. You could still mow diagonally. Diagonally is still going to look nice. And to be honest, I mean, from a pure vanity standpoint, if we look at your lawn, like there's a street right along there, if you mow it diagonally, like the stripes are going to look better. Like when people are driving by, if you're mowing diagonal, the lawn is going to present better with diagonal stripes than mowing lengthwise or mowing, like if we were mowing, like say from the sidewalk to the fence, like mowing up and down, you probably could get away with it on this because again, it's not really much of a slope. But if you think about it from just like, again, from a presentation standpoint, right? If you're just mowing straight up and down like this and a car is driving by and they're looking at your handiwork, really, it's not until they're like really like squared up with the stripes that they're really going to be able to see them okay, right? And then lengthwise, they may not even really come out, not pop that well. However, diagonally, let's say this is your sloped lawn, or this is your sloped lawn, and this is the street here. If you got like stripes cut in like this, as they are driving, they just kind of glance to the left. They have a hard time seeing like these nice stripes presented to the street. Overall, the cut's gonna be better, presentation's gonna be better. It's what I would do if it were me. But I mean, this is not a, I mean, again, it is a slope, but it's not, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse than that. Long and short of it is diagonally is what I would tell you. What I am doing here is what I would do on your slope. All right. So hope that helps, Toucan Sam. Thanks for sending the pictures in. I appreciate it. And yeah, diagonally for a lot of reasons. Okay. Next, Jamie says, I'm not sure if you've heard of a biochar plant in commerce. I have not. Next up is KK5FE. He says, Ron, just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Been getting a Revolution 20 soon. Nice, congrats. I'm over in Canton, so I'll go pick it up. Excited about that. I've been using a manual reel mower. Dude, it's going to be such a big difference. Like going from a manual reel mower to a powered reel mower is night and day. It's like going from like rotary to reel, big difference. Going from, I'd almost say going from manual reel to powered reel mower is a bigger difference than going from rotary to manual reel. Like it really is, like the clip rate is better. The fact that mower is heavier, it's going to stripe better. Like there's a big difference between a manual push reel mower and a powered reel mower. Like the stripe action, the cut quality it's just like the next level. And if you went greens mower, woo, even that much better. But the Revolution 20, awesome mower. Out of the non-greens mowers, that's that one is by far my favorite because it just checks a lot of the boxes. You got a rear drum, you got a nice heavy front roller, the balance is correct, Honda engine, just a lot about it to like. Okay, and then you said I have a sloped lawn similar to yours. I think the Revolution will work great. I think it will too. I think there should be no issue whatsoever with using the Revolution on a slope. Okay, Jason Carney's up next. He says, I thought you only had to switch directions with a rotary mower, but I don't know you had to with a reel. Thank you for that info. Yeah, oh yeah, with any mower. I mean, you really want to vary. You want to vary your mowing patterns. Yeah, if at all possible. It just prevents wear because you know what's going to tend to happen, Jason. Let's say I don't have a good picture to be able to show you. Actually, you know what? We can use Michael Thomason's lawn as an example. So let's say all Michael Thomason ever does is just mow in this direction, this pattern all the time. Like he never mows 90 degrees to it. What you're gonna find is the edges of the reel. So he's got like a 26-inch reel mower, like the where the roller ends on each side and where the drum ends on each side. You're gonna have wear marks there that are gonna really after several weeks of just mowing only one pattern, you're gonna begin to see that. So even though you have his thick stripes, there'll be like wear marks in the lawn from that. So the way you get around it is just to vary it each time. So yes, rotary or reel. You really do want to vary your mowing pattern, especially if you're mowing shorter. Now, if you're mowing taller, I mean, it's still a good idea to do it. But if you're real mowing the lawn, especially at heights under an inch where you're out there a few times per week, you really do want to vary the mowing pattern. You really do. It's be better for the lawn. Jimmy Miller says, Ron, what's your recommendation for my Spectacle G application after I applied Dimension? I would personally, oh, are you talking about Dimension in the springtime or Dimension now? Like if you're using Spectacle, the granular Spectacle now, I wouldn't really apply Dimension. You really shouldn't need it. I would say the Dimension for the springtime, mainly because like as far as like a spring pre-emergent, I like Dimension because of its ability to control crabgrass. And then Spectacle for the fall, you really shouldn't need anything else. I mean, the only thing I could ever see really stacking with Spectacle, and you can't really do it if you're using the granular, is if you are doing Spectacle flow, and I mean, you really shouldn't have a whole lot of POA annual in your lawn. But let's say you were late. One of these guys, you're waiting until like later in the season to go out and apply your spectacle flow. The only thing I could see really putting along with it would be something like Certainty. So you already have a bit of POA in your lawn and you want to control it, and also get your pre-emergent out. So you're waiting until later in the year. I could see throwing a post-emergent in the tank along with Spectacle. But as far as stacking another pre-emergent with it, I mean, can you? Sure, but do I really see any need to? Not to me. Not to me. As long as you're applying it properly at correct rates. I mean, Spectacle is a really good product. I mean, it's expensive, but it's expensive for a reason. It's worth it. Completely worth it. All right, Provisions Barbecue is up next. He says, hey, Ron, sorry I'm late. I hope the stream was great. So far, can't complain. I'll email a couple of pics of the current renovation. I should be putting down pre-emergent in the spring. Renoed the lawn on 8/22. I'm 3 mows in now, North New Jersey. Oh, you sent a couple of pictures, huh? I don't have any pictures from you at this point. What Provisions Barbecue? What is your name? I got a picture from somebody. Last name is Graham, but I don't know if that's you or not. And this doesn't look like, what do you put in? What kind of grass did you do? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. So next up we have Joaquin Velasquez. He says, hey, Ron, you have no idea how much I appreciate your help last week. Is it too late to apply Spectacle flow? No, it is not too late. I would absolutely do it. Again, what he's talking about, for anyone that doesn't know, is Spectacle Flow Pre-Emergent. This is the new styling. The bottle used to be what it looked like. It was like a red, yellow, green, and red label, kind of like the same kind of colors as like a Celsius, but now it is this color. I don't have a little Spectacle bottle here. I think it's in the garage. But yeah, this is the new branding for Spectacle Flow, and it's not too late to put it out. I would absolutely still do that. Yes. Absolutely would still do that. And then Dwayne Graham says, you sent the pictures. What are these pictures of, Dwayne? I'm scrolling up here to see what you said before. You said good evening. Oh, you said, oh yeah, you're the one, you got the new lawn and you have black spots in the lawn. I mean, I'm looking here. Let me show the folks what you're working with. I mean, I see like some dark spots, but nothing. Hang on here. Let's find live stream September 12th and there. Okay. So you've got picture 1, picture 2. Yes, it looks like you've got like some thatch and other nastiness in there. So let me show you. Let me show everyone, the folks, what you're working with, what you sent to me, Dwayne. All right. So this is the lawn now. That's a close up of it. I see some dark areas in there, and this looks like there's quite a bit of thatch in it. And then the last picture you sent really gets in close. And yeah, you see how all that matted down, all that dead material. It looks like just like, I mean, I'm not sure how long this lawn has sat, but it looks like just a bunch of dead material that's in the lawn. So a light verticut or a light dethatch, again, key word here is light, will clean a lot of that up. You can get all of that dead debris out, but that's what I'm seeing. This doesn't look like disease to me or anything like that. This looks like a lawn that's been neglected, and you've got just a lot of dead material in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, a light dethatch or verticut to kind of clean that out. Turf rake just to kind of clean that material out will help it. That's what it looks like to me. So again, yeah, no, I personally wouldn't really do fungicide at this point. I would just get out there and continue mowing it. But if you can lightly clean a lot of that old dead material that's been sitting there out, the appearance of the lawn is going to look a lot nicer. So good stuff, man. Thanks for sending those pictures. And again, hopefully that was helpful for you as far as that goes. Joe Quinn says, do you have it in stock? I do. Actually, you know what? I'm going to send you a link to it right now, Joaquin. You can find it. Where is this? New site design, redesign. Pre-emergent. I guess I could just use search versus going through all this, right? So Joaquin, here is a link to it. You can find it right here. So Joaquin, and there it is, Spectacle Flow. Again, that bottle will do like 3 acres. So you're gonna have it for years. And again, I will tell you, it is pricey. Having said that, I've tried a lot of different combinations for pre-emergent in the fall, and Spectacle is by far the best. By far the best. All right. Yeah, so hope that helps, Dwayne. Yeah, thanks for sending the pictures in. And yeah, what I explained, hopefully that makes sense to you. It looks like a bunch of just old dead material that just kind of sat. This has just been there, a lawn that's been neglected. Not surprising. So a light dethatch or turf rake, verticut, just something to lift, get that dead material out, is really gonna help a lot as far as the lawn goes. And again, keep up with your mowing. Like keep up with your mowing. That's gonna be the next thing. So dethatch it, but then also mow it, feed it. Just do all the things, and you'll be surprised at how quickly that lawn will really turn around. All right. Thanks for sending the pictures. Okay, and then Taz Labs Inc. Actually, let me see here. Jason Carney, he says, I got switched up. He says, sorry to belabor the point, but to clarify, do you switch directions every time on the same cut or switch directions every other cut? Go dogs. Every time I mow, I change the pattern. So we'll do it this way. Let's say this is my lawn and I mow tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm just going to mow like this. Like all the passes, all the double wides, all the thick passes are going to be like this. And then the next time I mow, say Monday, the next passes will be like this. So it'll be double wides, will be thick, but only back and forth in this direction. So each time you mow, you change, I guess you're saying, because you're changing the directions, I guess, you change the directions. You're going back and forth each time. I guess each time, rotate your cutting, your passes 90 degrees. That's probably the best way of saying it. All right. So this way, back and forth for one mow, rotate 90 degrees, and then back and forth this way for the next mow, and then the time after that, rotate back. So back and forth each time. Every other mow, rotate 90 degrees and continue mowing. Or you could do diagonal. You could do diamonds. You could do you could go 45. You could rotate 45 degrees and do that. You just tons of different ways of doing it. But the point is just change it up each time is what I'm telling you. Like your lawn will thank you for it. It will look more manicured. The cut will be better. You're going to have like cooler stripes. Your neighbors will be discouraged to even try and compete with you. They'll wonder how you're doing that. So lots of reasons to do it. Some have to do with the health of the grass. Some have to do with vanity. Both are valid. Okay, next up is Taz Lab Inc. He says, hey, I just completed renovation and would like to apply pre-emergent. However, I would like to overseed in the spring. Cool season lawn for me as I'm in New York. Any thoughts or recommendations? Okay, when you say you completed a lawn, you just completed a lawn renovation. How recent is just? As in like a month ago, or like earlier this year? Like how recent is the renovation, and what did the renovation entail? Do you like resod the lawn? Did you put out grass seed? Long and short of it is, with a cool season lawn, if you put out grass seed, or if you use seed to do your renovation, and on the low end, you really want to give it 6 months. You really do. Now, here's what I would say. If you have a lawn, here's a one caveat to that. If you have a lawn that was largely established, it was looking pretty good, and you had maybe a few thin areas, and you're just using overseeding to kind of help thicken the lawn up, meaning that if you go out and you apply pre-emergent and you may lose a little bit of the new grass, it's not like the end of the world, then I could see 3 months afterwards from the time you did that being a potential play. But if you're talking about like you went scorched earth, bare dirt, brand like grass seed, like you're establishing a brand lawn from scratch, at least 6 months. You want to give it at least 6 months before you do pre-emergent, especially with it being a cool season lawn. You don't want to take the risk of damaging it. So that's what I would tell you, Taz Labs. What that means, though, is if you're not doing pre-emergent this fall, which it sounds like you're probably not going to be, then you can just use an appropriate post-emergent herbicide to control any weeds or any breakthrough you may have. Now, if you are telling me that you just did a renovation, and by just you mean 6+ months ago, then yeah, you could do prodiamine as a fall pre-emergent. So if we go back to, I think here, to like your pre-emergent options, you've got Dimension, you got prodiamine in granular, and prodiamine as a water dispersible granule, so it can be sprayed as a liquid. So either one of these options would be fine for a fall pre-emergent, assuming the renovation is 6 months old or more. All right. So I gave you a whole bunch of if this, then that, but I want to make sure I explain the why behind it, because it sounds like you put a bunch of time into getting the lawn to where it is. I don't want you to do something that could potentially cause damage for all of your hard work. All right. So if you want to take a look at the pre-emergent options we have in the Golf Course Lawn Store, feel free to take a look there. I just sent you the link. If you need anything else, do let me know. Okay, yeah. So hopefully you got that. I think you should be all good to go. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ping me. But yeah, you should have it there in the chat. And you said thank you. I only have 8,000 square feet. Yeah, I mean you say that, but so you have 8,000 square feet, but you'll do an application now. You'll do another one November, December, and then every year you'll apply again. So I mean, again, that bottle of pre-emergent in your case will last you for several years, 3-4 years at least, is what you would get out of it. So that's the thing. That's the thing. So yeah, for 8,000 square feet, I would still, in other words, square footage aside, I would still use Spectacle Flow. It's because it's really that good. It really is that good of a product. And then let's see here. Provision Barbecue Size says, sorry, one of my drafts might be there now. Oh, the renovation, cool. Yeah, it says some pictures, cool. Oh, it looks nice, man. Okay, so let's go. I'll just call it barbecue because it needs to be its own folder. Okay, so this is a picture of his renovation. I think you sent us pictures of this before, but it looks like it's getting to be a bit tall, man. Getting to be a bit tall. Prov BBQ, and then Prov BBQ1. All right, so we have 2 pictures, 1 and then 2. Here's the thing, man. I would start mowing that, dude. It's looking good. I'd put a mower on that. So here's this picture of a close up, and then a wider shot of his renovation project. Yeah, I would put a mower on that, man. I mean, just start high. I don't know. You're already mowing it. I see tracks through it, so maybe you are mowing it. But if you are not, I would start. Like that's thick enough and it's looking good enough that a mower, like mowing it, is only gonna help it. So I would absolutely start mowing that. Looks good, man. Came in really nicely. So yeah, so keep going. It looks really good. Looks really good. All right. And then last up, I think, let's see here. We have a few more pictures here. This one is from Ray Ross. He says, Ron, when you cut, what music when you cut, what music do you listen to? If so, what you got? Everything, dude. I listen to a bit of I listen to a bit of everything. Most of the time it's like podcasts. A lot of times it's like podcasts of various types. So that's an option. I listen to everything. Everything, man. Like everything from like Rob Zombie to like Grover Washington Jr. So the totally ends of the spectrum, from like metal to jazz. So a little bit of everything. Just like like 2 years ago, I was on this James Brown kick. So I was listening to a whole lot of James Brown. And like Spotify at the end of the year said, "Hey man, you played a whole lot of James Brown this year. That was like your main thing." So, but normally I just change it up. So I don't. I like all music. You know, I listen to a little bit of everything. Listen to a little bit of everything. A little reggae every now and then. So yeah, not any. There's not any one genre that I listen to. All right, Taz Lab says thank you. You are very welcome, very welcome. And then let's see here, Jeremy is up next. He says just put down some granular Lebanon 007. If I see some spurge, can I still nuke it with nuke it with Celsius at this point in this time of year? Zion, Zoysia, Auburn, Alabama, War Eagle. Yes, yeah. If you want to, if the spurge is still actively growing, which it is this time of year, you can use Celsius with it. I would tell you, Jeremy, is use surfactant with it for best results. So just by itself, Celsius by itself, okay. Some might even say good. With surfactant, better. So I would do these. I would do both of these if you're going to look to control spurge. It's what I use to control spurge in my lawn. So there you go. So hope that helps. And then Jason Carney says, "Can I get your thoughts on my yard? I say this is an erosion issue causing dry areas this summer. If not, what do you think?" Picture emailed. Let's see. Ooh. Oh. I don't know if I don't know about erosion, man. Hang on. Let's see if this comes through. Let's see, Jason C. Carney. All right. I don't know if it's erosion as much. It looks a little dry to me, man. So let's look here. So this is his lawn. Like, from looking at this, like when you run your, I'm not sure if you have irrigation or not, does that part of the lawn get as much water as the other areas? Because if you look, it just looks dry to me, man. Because look, if you look like the little strip you have there, that obviously is getting a whole lot of love between the sidewalk and the house. So like the little 3 passes, like the dark, light, dark, that looks spectacular. And then all along the sidewalk to the right of the sidewalk, the color there is pretty good. And then along the sidewalk all the way to the right, the color looks pretty decent. But then in the middle here is I mean, it looks dry. It looks like whatever. But if you're watering, it doesn't look like your watering is even. Like it looks like that area has dried out compared to the rest of the lawn. From my eye. And again, for the picture, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, it tends to flatten things. And that the dry areas don't look like they are really higher than the areas that look good. It just looks dry, man. That's what Jason. That's what I would say. It looks dry to me. That's what I would go with. It looks, I don't think disease. I don't think really erosion. It looks like it wants some water is what it looks like. And why that area looks like that and the other areas not as much. I mean, if you have irrigation, maybe check it and see. Maybe those areas aren't getting as much moisture, as much water as the other parts, because the other parts of the lawn look great. So I would say either you can try spot watering that section, or just increasing how long you run your irrigation for and seeing if that that helps correct the problem or helps improve it. That's what I would tell you. So I don't think it's a disease problem. I think it's like how you're taking care of it, or even an erosion problem. I think it's crying out for water. Okay, and then I think we have a few more questions here. We have Taz. Says, thank you. I appreciate your wisdom. You're very welcome. And the next up is Jeremy. He says, also at this point in the year with the cooler night temps, is it good to water at night rather than in the morning? Nope. I would still water in the morning. I still water early in the morning. I really would. Between 4 and 6 a.m. is when I would run irrigation. You have less chance of there being disease problems if you are able to water the lawn heavily, let that water soak in. But then when you have daylight, you have the heat of the day, dry the leaf out to where you don't have water sitting on the leaf of the plant all night. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I realize that when it rains at night, the grass stays wet. But I mean, when you control, as much as you can control it, it's better to not have the leaf just stay damp and moist all night. So I'd still say early morning if you can, Jeremy. All right. And then Provision Barbecue says 3 mows in, 2 inches on the high to cut. Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks good, man. I can actually see on this picture, it looks like it's like a 3 pass on your vanity strip. That's what I'm seeing. Looks good, man. It looks good. I mean, look, yeah, just keep mowing it. I'll tell you, it looks coming in nice. I approve. Thumbs up. Great work. And then Joaquin Velasquez says, Ron, do you recommend getting Celsius Celsius G? I think you mean Spectacle G. Or do you think Spectacle Flow would be enough to control weeds? Thank you. Okay, yeah. So Celsius is a post-emergent herbicide. Spectacle Flow is a pre-emergent herbicide. So they work. They both control weeds, but they control them at different stages of the life cycle. If the weeds are already in your lawn, meaning you can visually see them, then this is what you want. This is not going to do a whole lot for you. With Spectacle, what we're trying to do is, as temperatures get cooler, there are certain weeds that grow, that thrive in cooler temperatures, like annual bluegrass, Poa annua, Poa trivialis, henbit, chickweed, and a bunch of others. When temperatures get cooler, those weeds begin to germinate and grow now, kind of like how when it gets hotter, spurge, crabgrass, nutsedge become more of a problem. Like those weeds prefer hotter temperatures to grow, whereas with Spectacle this time of year, we're trying to control our cool season weeds. So these are not interchangeable. It's not either or, it's both. If you have active weeds in your lawn, again, this assumes warm season grass. Cool season folks, you can ignore everything I'm saying here because neither of these are for you guys. These are not for you. If you have a warm season lawn and you have broadleaf weeds in it, then Celsius as a post-emergent herbicide is what you want. And for your pre-emergent, Spectacle Flow, if you have a warm season lawn, is what you want. So it's not one or the other, it is both. They both serve different purposes. You need both of them, all right? Ideally, if you do a great job with this, you will need less of this. If you don't do this, you and this are going to become best friends. So use this. I would tell you. Spectacle is just really important. So again, pre-emergent is really important. All right. So hope that helps, Joaquin. And then Jeremy kind of summarized what I said here. Celsius kills weeds already growing. Spectacle prevents germination of new weeds. Yep. So he said it much more concisely than I did. It's not either or. It's a both. It's a both kind of thing. All right. So if you're looking, Joaquin, what I would say is this, right? Say you're trying to build out your kit for weed control in a warm season lawn, right? And you have the budget. Here's what I would tell you. For your fall pre-emergent, go with Spectacle Flow. Look no further. Get that as your fall pre-emergent. Call that, check that box, you're good. Come springtime, your choices are either prodiamine as an option, either granular or liquid, or dimension is a good option. Either one of these, any one of these three will be fine for your springtime. For your fall, that's this. For a warm season lawn like Bermuda grass, like what you have, then this kit, which has Celsius, Certainty, Surfactant, and Dye for controlling weeds in a warm season lawn, this is pretty much what you need. You know what I mean? The only thing I could see you might add to this is some kind of a quinclorac product if you end up having a bunch of crabgrass in your lawn, but you shouldn't if you use pre-emergent, right? So for spurge control, other broadleafs, Celsius will take care of that. For sedges, and if you have some breakthrough with Poa annua, you should have a whole lot of it. That's what Certainty will do. Crabgrass, really, if your pre-emergent strategy is your program is good, you really shouldn't be fighting a lot of crabgrass throughout the warmer part of the year, right? That's where your prodiamine or dimension in the early spring is going to help you with that. So hope that helps. If I had to tell you, I'd say, Spectacle, fall, prodiamine or dimension in the spring for your pre-emergent. That covers the weed prevention program. And then for your post-emergent, so, we messed up or we just had some breakthrough, that's where Celsius and Certainty as 2 herbicides I have on the shelf for warm season lawn are really hard to beat. They're really good for a lot of reasons. One, they control a ton of different weeds and they don't have temperature restrictions per se. So you could use them when temperatures are cooler. You can use them in the middle of July when it's really hot. with far less chance of discoloring or damaging your lawn compared to other post-emergent herbicides that you can use on warm season turf grass. So say, for example, if you went and got like a three-way, right? So like 2,4-D, like a 2,4-D product with something like Triad. While it is pretty good from a standpoint of controlling broadleaf weeds, it doesn't control as many weeds as Celsius does. Like this is better, it controls way more weeds than like a three-way does. And with a three-way, once you get above like 85 degrees, you are going to get some discoloration. So this is something you're just going to have to deal with. Whereas with Celsius, very unlikely to get that, especially, you stick to the rates and everything. You're just unlikely to have a negative result in your lawn using Celsius. So even though both Celsius and Certainty seem like more expensive options for post-emergent herbicides, they are, in my opinion, for warm season lawn, they better options. Like they're the ones that you really want to use if you want to be able to control weeds and have your lawn not really lose its color because you're spraying weeds in it. Case in point, okay, warm season folks look away. I'm about to show some zoysia now. Our Bermuda folks look away. So I had some spurge in my zoysia. I know, shock horror. And I sprayed this. This lawn is 5 months old now at this point, with Celsius and surfactant, and there was no discoloration whatsoever, and the spurge was burnt to a crisp. So as far as just being really effective on for controlling weeds while not taking the color out of your lawn, really hard to beat Celsius and Certainty. So hopefully that helps. Joaquin, yeah. So I mean, I know it seems expensive, but the thing too is that both of like that kit, you're gonna have enough to cover like 3 acres. So again, Celsius and Certainty will sit on the shelf. You'll have that for years to come. Spectacle will sit on the shelf. You have it for years to come, and you'll have a really solid program for keeping your lawn weed free. All right. So hope that helps. All right. Next up is Higgy Pop. He says, "Happy Friday, everyone. Let's have a great show, Ron. Let's all hit the like button. It's free. Thanks so much, Higgy. I really do appreciate you and all. And again, I'm still repping your American flag. The gift you gave me, how long has it been? Is it almost 2 years at this point? Really appreciate that. Still pretty awesome. So thanks for that. And yeah, guys, gals, I think that's our last question, comment of the evening. So I will cue the outro music. I'll give you guys some time back for you to, perhaps plan on which college football game you're going to watch tomorrow. Maybe think about what you can do for pre-emergent. I'll give you some time to go read our carefully written blog on fall pre-emergent so you can decide which option you're going to use on your lawn to keep weeds at bay. As always, I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your Friday night to come hang out with me a little bit, talk about lawn care. It's a fun hobby. And as always, if you are looking for an amazing selection of fertilizers, herbicides, pretty much everything you need to create a lawn that your neighbors are absolutely going to envy, check us out at the Golf Course Lawn Store. We'd love the opportunity to be part of your lawn care journey. Get out and do something fun on the lawn this weekend, and I will talk to you guys next week. Take care.